Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm just out kind of messing around with my A7R5. I've been having some problems with it, to be honest with you, and I just kind of wanted to test it out a little bit more today to see if I can duplicate any of those problems, and also to see if anybody out there in the YouTube universe has had any problems with it. The first time I was down taking pictures of my daughter at a kind of a meet and greet thing for a Palm Squad. And I was just snapping pictures, and she's like, "Hey, let me take a look at some of those." So I hit, the playback button, and it just kind of froze up. Like my whole camera just froze up, kind of in between playback and live view. So I wound up having to reset the whole thing, pull the battery out, do that whole thing. I've never really had to do that with a Sony camera before. Like I've never had any problems like that in the past. I haven't anyway. So that was kind of weird. And then and that day also, the whole camera was just kind of acting strange. And I think I finally figured out what was going on. Is I didn't have the lens seated properly, like twisted all the way, like it was making good contact with the camera. So I think that day that was the issue. But it's weird. I mean, I've never had that issue before, and I've used lots of cameras and lots of lenses, and never had any problems. So I thought that was kind of weird. Just kind of put that in its own little, something's weird, but I don't know exactly what it is, box. And then last night I got it out to shooting at my daughter's football game. She was doing the Palm, and my camera just started acting weird again. All the pictures and everything were fine, like it did good in photo mode. But then when I would try to flip it over into video mode, it would shoot for a little bit and then just freeze. And I'll show you a little bit of that clip right here. I don't know what was going on with it. And a lot of times I would get like it would only record like little 6 or 7 second clips. I had a lot of those, and I know I was recording for more than 6 or 7 seconds at a time. There's no way I would do that. So there's a lot of weird stuff happening with the recording of it. Now, I was using my custom function mode 3 and going back between photo and video, and I was using my camera a lot. It felt warm to the touch, but I never got an overheating warning, ever. So I don't know if it was overheating. It could have been the card. I never got a card read error or anything kind of a message on my camera at all, and it was just acting strange during the recording. So I don't know what was going on with it. I was using like a Lexar pro grade card V90. It should be plenty fast enough to shoot. I was shooting in 4K 60. So, and I don't know, it was just weird. Like I've never had a situation like that before. Now I have had a problem with one of the other Lexar cards in the past where, it just kind of had some physical damage on it for no reason at all. Like a little tab on the back broke loose. So I'm afraid to insert it into my camera, but 256 gigabyte V90 card is super expensive. So hopefully it's not the card, but I need to try to figure out what is going on, because man, it was frustrating, one, and unreliable, really. If it's going to be doing that, like what's going on with it? So just out kind of messing around today to see if I can recreate any of that. Shooting video, maybe shoot some pictures and everything. Here's another little interesting thing that I was kind of messing around last night while I was out shooting photos at the football game. Is Sony has a bunch of different creative looks built into their camera, kind of like the film simulations of Fuji. And that was one of the main reasons I've always, was interested in Fuji, because of the different film simulations. And but I've always, with Sony, just always shot in standard or ST or whatever it is. And but last night I got to playing around with some of those, and they are quite interesting. Like they are nice. Like I can't remember all the different different abbreviations, and I certainly don't know what they stand for. I tried to do some research online and couldn't really come up with a good description of what was going on. But man, there's one there that like mutes the colors really nicely. There's another one that puts a little matte finish on the outlook on the picture itself. I mean, they are quite impressive. So if you're into Sony and kind of are missing some of those Fuji film simulations, you might swing over to and check out the creative. I think they call them creative style or creative looks or something in your Sony camera. Check those out and see what you think. Gear recap of the week. I decided to go all in on a strobe setup. I just am super interested in taking photos like that. I wish I could say I'm going to be using it all the time and, had all these models lined out and all this and that, but that's not the case. So I'm going to have to coerce my daughter into let me take in her picture, maybe some of her friends and stuff like that, because I'm really interested in doing this type of photography. And just to kind of show you what I got as an overall kit, probably way overkill, but I'd rather buy, once right than twice wrong, or whatever, however that saying goes. For the main light, I got the Westcott FJ 400. Just a huge light, super bright and powerful, and of course it has the trigger and all fires electronically, and I got the FJ 200 to go along with that. And along with all this stuff, I got Manny Ortiz Beauty Dish. I got some paper backgrounds and some stands to put those paper backgrounds on. I didn't know kind of what I was getting into with the paper backgrounds. And I ordered some. They're literally like 9 feet wide. They're like the extra grande size. So I haven't decided whether I want to send those back. I don't need near that much height or width. So I'm either going to just keep them and see if I can work with them the way they are. I'm going to send them back, or I might try to cut them with a hacksaw, because literally they're like 8-9 feet wide, which is just crazy. I don't need anything that long. So anyway, it's kind of a gear recap for the week. There is a jillion soft boxes on beauty dishes, whatever you want to call them, on the market today. But I kind of went with the Manny Ortiz because I'm a big fan of Manny Ortiz. I watch a lot of his stuff. He really kind of got me hooked into photography, so I thought, it'd be cool to just, support him or support his channel a little bit. Not that he needs my help or anything, but I thought it'd be nice, And I tell you what, I got this softbox out. First of all, this is how fast it goes together. It's nothing to put together. Boom, it's done. And I got the wide interior, which I wanted. But the thing about this thing is you can just feel how premium it is. Like, I've had some other cheaper, soft boxes in the past, and they all did the job, of course, but this one you can really tell is meant to last. When you're looking at strobe lights, you either go Godox or Westcott. That's pretty much the two prosumer brands out there, I would say. There's Profoto or whatever, but those are way more expensive. I'm sure there's other ones, but those are kind of the two main popular ones. And the reason I went for Westcott is mainly because when I started looking at the receivers, it made sense to me, like the menu systems and all this. So it made sense to me. It's easy for me to understand. I've had the Godox Speedlight in the past with the trigger and all that, and it just wasn't natural for me to get. Maybe because I didn't use it a whole lot or something like that, but it was just hard for me to understand and to kind of get the results that I wanted. When you're out shooting, you don't want to have to sit there and try to figure out a menu system. It's the worst. and you don't have a lot of time. You know, you don't want to spend any time while somebody's sitting there waiting on you to take their picture. You're trying to figure out a setting. You know, that ain't gonna work. You know, as every Saturday, we have to cut the grass, and I think this will put me either 5 or 6 up on my neighbor, so we're good there. Don't even stress about that. But on today's lawn mowing playlist, we have Turnpike Troubadours, A Cat in the Rain, a brand new album coming out. Just came out the other day. So that's what we're going to be listening to. So knocked out the lawn, no problem at all. Probably record time today. I had the old Skag mower flying today. It's hot, so we're going to get done quickly. And got her done. Turnpike Troubadours, highly recommend. A Cat in the Rain, another great album from them guys. If you don't know anything about Turnpike Troubadours, you might want to give it a listen. I think you would consider it red dirt. You know, people ask me kind of what kind of music it is. I think they call it red dirt, which means it's just a mix of everything under the sun. When you're listening to the music, you can hear gospel, you know, rock, country, everything. It's everything kind of just mixed together, and I really can't describe it other than it's just really good. So if you want to give it a listen, I'd highly recommend. So I think that's going to about do it for me today. Yeah, it's about noon. It's about 98 degrees already, so the rest of the day is going to be pretty short. Luckily, college football starts today, and I might just jump in the pool, turn on some college football, and call it a day. But let me know what you think. I mean, if any of you guys ever had any problems with the A7R5? Like I say, I've used a lot of Sony cameras and never had any kind of issues like this. It's really strange. I try to recreate it, like take some pictures, you know, and really quick burst and turn it over to video and shoot. And I can't seem to recreate it, so I'll either have to wait till next time and see if I can do it then. I don't know. I'm guessing it has something to do with heat and or the card. Maybe a combination of both. Who knows? So let me know what you think. If you ever had any problems, like and subscribe, all that stuff. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. I hope to God it cools down in Oklahoma soon. Take care.